commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. Le webinaire va bientôt commencer. Veuillez rester en ligne. La diffusion vient de démarrer. Tous les participants sont en mode écoute seul.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I just want to welcome everybody to the webinar, 10-Minute Trades. And I'm very happy always to be here. We gave a little webinar on Saturday. Saturday was step one in the elements that we like to talk about and call family money trades. So the title of the webinar today, How I Grew My Trading Account by 60% in just 5 months with family money trades. That's my real family. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. I'm a musician. I'm a regular person. I'm just like everybody else that comes into these rooms and wants to learn. I was exactly like everybody else. I am nobody special. I don't do anything better than anyone else, but I put time in to learn how to do what I'm going to show you, what I think that you should want to do so that you could have some really good trading outcomes. Let's just get through the disclaimer. Remember that all trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Read through the rules and all of the claims and results about trading. You know, don't trade money that you can't afford to lose. But don't also believe that every trader is not going to be successful. That is not true. Don't trade money you can't afford to lose, but have a positive output, positive attitude, and you're going to be able to be a positive trader. So I just wanted to write down a couple of important points to go over before I really start my webinar. Let me get my YouTube stream going, which I totally forgot about. And YouTube, here we go. So I want to welcome our YouTube members. Thanks for coming, everybody. A couple of important points. And this is like pre-webinar, okay? Pre-webinar. I will answer questions, just so you know, after the presentation's over, okay? Because it kind of throws me off in the middle. So I'll answer questions after. I will answer every question. Please write them down. I'm happy to answer anything you want to ask me. No holds barred. I'm not afraid of being peppered with anything you want to ask. Important points. So our company, we're not new. We've been doing this for many years. 2014, our owner, one of the owners, started this company as a hobby, I would say. And he called the company Joe Bracket Breakout, sort of after his own name. Joe was Jay Offner. That was his name. He still works for the company. Over the years, we've had different names. We were the News Traders. We were TradeTheNews.com. Our software we called Jobb, just as a mode of respect for our beginnings. So our software still carries our original name. We never changed our name because people left us bad reviews. We were never running from any bad news or anything like that. We've always just been looking for a perfect identity. And when we came upon 10-minute trades, it truly became a perfect identity for the way that we trade. And we're very pleased with that name. It's been more than a year. It's been a couple of years now that we've been 10-minute trades. If you Google us, Google me, you won't find any bad reviews, no complaints, certainly not that I've ever seen. And we're very honest, transparent, and forthcoming all the time. And we treat our members like they are members of the family. And that's how this all started. So when we first started, we traded all our reports. And in Saturday's webinar, we talked about the daily market movers, the DMM reports. And you need three things to be, in my opinion, three things to trade our system perfectly, okay? Some people don't use all three of the elements, and they still do very well. But if you want to have the best opportunity for succeeding, trading events, and then trading the subset of events that we call FMTs, family money trades, you need three things. And I'll get into those three things in a minute. But I want to talk about our beginnings, because our beginnings are important, because our beginnings got us to where we are now. When we first started, we traded all the reports, and we struggled. Our account, it was always at 50%. It always seemed to be a little bit above where we started or a little bit below where we started. And we worked so hard, and I worked my tail off to try and figure out how to make more money. And it was a battle. It was always 50-50. We'd be up 1,000, and then we'd get even, and then we'd go back up 1,000. And I'll explain how we changed that. But so we started that way. And Saturday, I talked about the first element, the daily market mover report. This is step one in becoming a good family money trader. This tells you the trade that we're going to trade, and it has the setup, the instrument, the stops, the targets, etc. Now, we went over all of that on Saturday, so I'm not going to go over that today. But I just want to cover some of the important points. So we took those reports, and we generate about anywhere between 10 and 15, 17 of those reports a week. When we traded all of them, even the coin toss trades, the 50-50s, that's why we wound up always being either up a little or down a little. It was a struggle to make consistent money. We weren't losing a lot of money, but we honestly were not making a lot of money. Then over the years, we kept going the same way, and the company did fine. People love trading the news. Our trade room performance could have been better, but we do a lot of really quality education. People are very happy with the education. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, the markets, everything changed. The markets changed, events changed, the way that instruments responded to the news changed. And I'm sure that if you were trading when COVID hit, when the pandemic began, you know exactly what I mean when I say to you that the markets were extremely different and extremely challenging right as the world crisis began. We went through a period of about 2.5 months where news events were not having the proper impact, and we were trading totally differently than we ever traded before. It was difficult. Our members stayed with us because we did a lot of discretionary trading, and it actually changed the company in many ways for the better, and it made me upgrade our software so that it was even better as a discretionary tool. So a lot of good actually came out of the world crisis. Now, even when things are bad, there are always good things you can take from it. And one of the things that we did take was that our software got improved and updated. And the other good thing is so many of our members stuck with us. It was very, very rewarding, especially for me, because I was struggling in the trade room, struggling to find trades that would make money. And it was very challenging times. And then I'm very happy to say that after a couple of months, the markets, they kind of got back to normal, or they kind of got back to tradable. The markets will never be the way they were before the crisis, just like the world will never be like it was before the crisis. We will always do more things online. We will always have more people working remotely, at least part of the week. Everything is different, everything. And that's not always a bad thing. It's just a different thing. Some people like some of the changes and some people don't. It's best if you try not to like or dislike, but just try to roll with the punches, keep a positive attitude, and keep on trading and trying to be successful. One of the things that it took a long time to understand, and once I finally understood it, it totally changed the way our system worked. We were over trading. We were trading all the reports, even the mediocre reports. Our account was never growing well enough. And when I discovered the key word, under trading, that's when everything changed. We've had a lot of questions now regarding the track record of our family money trades. So I want to address the elephant in the room, however you want to call it. And I just want to show you the real results with our real broker statements. So you know that we're here not, throwing out a lot of malarkey, but we're throwing out real truth and transparency. That is very important to me, to be honest and truthful. So we'll start by breaking down our performance record for the family money trades. Here's a recap of our main account since we started trading only family money trades in this specific account in April. This is our brokerage statement for the month of April. Our initial trading balance was $13,228. I'll forget the cents, okay? That was April 1st. And I'm sure a lot of you recognize this statement. It's a dormant statement, and it's totally recognizable because you all get them. I'm not going to fake it. It's real. You can tell it's real. 13,228. That's where we started. Here's our brokerage statement as of Tuesday, July 30th. It was 19,517. You can see account from 7/1 to 7/30, account cash balance. So it went from 13,200 roughly up to 19,517. That was the ending balance July 30th. And then here's our brokerage statement as of August 31st. It was up to 21,538. These are real statements. I can show you. Here's the real statement. We happen to be cleared by AMP. We all use the NinjaTrader platform. Our software requires the NinjaTrader platform. So if you want to be a family money trader, you have to use NinjaTrader as your trading software. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's an excellent platform. But this is the real statement, okay? This is not like just a little cutoff piece. I just wanted to show you the real thing. You can tell what a real brokerage statement looks like. And when you look at, is it the bottom? Yeah, you look at the bottom page, it shows you your cash balance, okay? 21,538 is the cash balance. So if we take the numbers, it was a swing of $8,300 since April 1st. Now, that's not bad. Keeping in mind, I was not trading in a manner that I would try to make $1 million. My goal in starting family money trades was simply to find a method that the average retail trader with a quote unquote normal sized account could trade and make money and be comfortable trading trades that were reliable and relatively safe. I did a small tweak to our system. Instead of trading everything, I went through all our reports with a fine-tooth comb very carefully, and I picked the best of the best. And I'm always in our trade room looking for more trades, and we're always finding new ones to add to our money trade portfolio. So we had a swing of over $8,000 since April 1st. And if you do the math, it's a 61% increase since we started family money trades. FMTs is what I want to call them. That's a pretty awesome increase. So keep in mind, $8,300 might not sound like a lot of money, but I'm trying to prove a point. I'm trying to show that we can trade average size, 3 to 4 contracts a trade, nothing huge, nothing hyper risky, and a person can make enough money to pay a pretty hefty mortgage and maybe more. So remember, I was averaging just 2 to 4 trades a week. That's certainly not over trading. And all the trades take 10 minutes or less, almost always. So it's more than a $2,000 profit per month. Let's see, am I right? April, May, June, July, August. It's pretty close. Okay, it's about a little bit less than $2,000 a month, but it's enough money, in my opinion, to pay the average person's mortgage. It could easily pay the average person's 2 car payments in their house. The point is, without trying to make a ton, we made a nice, steady profit trading a specific type of system very carefully and very enjoyably. We had many, many, many profitable trades. We traded more than 60 trades in this time period. Now, wouldn't you love to pay your mortgage and maybe even a little bit more with any trading system that you're using? I know, because I hear from people every single day, I'm not successful. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down. I never seem to be able to be steady. That is the hardest thing for everybody. But for us, this is what happens when you treat your trading account as if you were risking your family's money instead of your own. And that's how this all started. I was always just like fooling around in the trade room and saying, you know what, here's a report. You know, if I was trading my daughter's money or my son's money on this report, I would trade it live. And then there would be other reports where I would say the opposite. I would say, you know what, if I wouldn't trade my family's money on this trade, no way. And that's how family money trades came about, because it just seemed like a great idea and a great It was a great marketing tool, to be honest. Family money trades. What sounds better than that? So that's why I call these family money trades. That's myself and my daughter. They are the people that I trade for. And for all of you, I really care about all our members. And I treat our members the nicest way possible. And I would do anything to help you succeed. The family money-based trading method, and it is a method, it's simple, it's based on time, it's a safety-oriented approach to the market. We schedule our trades on specific days at specific times, and you can schedule them up to a month in advance if you wanted to. I like to work weekly. That works best for me. And best of all, while all trading has risk, family money trading, in my opinion, is the least risky method of trading I've ever seen. Other than putting your money into a money market account where there's virtually no risk, but you only have a 0.25% growth, family money trading is one of the less risky methods of trading. It's absolutely not true that trading events is more risky than not trading events. You have stops, you have targets, you have safety valves in place. Any system can have a trade that blows up and doesn't work, but if you are steady and keep trading and keep doing the things you want to do and don't panic, trade and continue to trade when something goes wrong, you'll make up any of the losses if the system is good, and you'll wind up having success. That is my absolute belief, and we're showing that that works with the family money system. I'm not going to lie, September has been a more challenging month because the markets have been difficult. They've been whippy, they've been jumpy, the news has been reacting strangely, and we've had our first minor drawdown, and because our risk profile is very controlled, our drawdown has been tiny. And even with a difficult month, we've barely lost any of our profits. My trading account today, now remember, my trading account at the end of August was 21.5-ish, and our trading account today is 21.4-ish. So if you can have a drawdown and you've only lost $100 in that drawdown, you haven't lost thousands, that's amazing, because that tells you your safety protocols are in place and you're on target. When the markets get friendly again, which they always do, you're going to start to build that profit back up. And that's the period we're coming into now. So last week we talked about our daily reports and how important they are. Today I want to talk about the Jobb software. I said before that there's three important elements that make family money trading or any event trading important. Our software, to me, because I personally have done all the upgrades to it. It's sort of like the software is my child. It's like my extra member of my family. I've spent so much time working on it, updating it, trying to make it as phenomenally versatile as possible. I've spent months and months and months analyzing it, talking to people about it, and it's really turned into something special. When I got here, it only had 2 targets. It couldn't protect your stop automatically if you wanted to. It didn't have trailing stops. Now, all the entries, if you so choose, can be automated. You don't have to fumble around on a chart. Multiple setups are supported. We added many setups because when the markets changed, we added reversals, we added a squeeze play, we added a one-click range trade for earnings, all sorts of different setups, so that our software range trades, which actually were always a part of the software, we've updated the trap trade, which is a very unique kind of reversal trade. And our software has become so powerful, it's a super ATM now also. And that makes it incredibly well friendly towards discretionary traders. You don't have to trade events. You can set up special times that you like to trade. You could automate your entries, and it's quite the exciting, very sophisticated software. And probably the best part of it that I like is automated entries, no fumbling around on the charts when you get ready for an event. And I love the fact that it's a super ATM. A super ATM is the programming language that you don't have to program anymore. It's a programming language in many trading platforms that lets you set stops and moving stops, and it allows you to move your targets and things like that. Our software has fields, and you can put numbers into a field. Once you understand what those fields are, you can use the software to do those things. So let me show you a couple of quick things. I'll load my platform real fast. I wasn't going to, this is not going to be a 2-hour lesson on how wonderful our software is, but it is wonderful, and I just want to show you a couple of instances so you can see why it trades well. So let's say, for instance, you're trading gold. NinjaTrader is a very nice product. So you can trade gold. You could also trade the ES. The platform that NinjaTrader is a part of, it lets you trade multiple charts, multiple instruments. So that was very useful for us this week, because the FOMC statement, I had done a whole bunch of fancy testing. And not fancy testing, but serious testing. And what I discovered was that the ES was trading really, really well, and bonds were trading really, really well in past FOMC trades. So here's what we did. We set up a trade using our software, and I'll give an example of how it works. So one of the things that happens is when you load the software, it installs as a strategy into NinjaTrader, and when you bring it up, it gives you all these simple choices. They're just numbers that you fill in. You might choose how many positions you want to trade. If you want to trade 2 contracts, you make position 1 of 2. If you want to trade 5 contracts, you make position 1 of 5. Or you could spread your contracts out between 3 positions. And then you can choose your targets just by typing in the number of ticks that you want your target to be. And you have stops. You put your stop in. You can move your target. You can move your stop if your first target gets hit. That's a feature of the software. We have an unattended mode. If I want to trade tomorrow and I'm not going to be home and I want to set up a trade for the next day, the software can support that feature. Now, that's something you should be aware. There's high risk involved, because you want to be careful if you're not at your computer during a trade. But a lot of people asked us for that feature, and you can do it. So, for instance, if there's a 3 o'clock in the morning trade, you don't want to get up, you could set your trade up so it'll trade. So you've got all these fields that create a super ATM. You can cancel your trade automatically. The entry time that our orders show up on the chart, anything to do with a trade, our software can set up. And as we explained on Saturday, many of the choices are spelled out for you when you get the daily report the day before the trade. So for instance, this morning at 3 in the morning, there was a trade called German Flash Services Manufacturing PMI. It's a manufacturing and a services trade. Economies have manufacturing and economies have services. Our economy is strong on services and a little bit less strong on manufacturing, because we send a lot of our manufacturing overseas. But manufacturing reports are very important, and the markets look at those reports and they have impact. And we discussed why reports move the markets. We're not going to get into that today. You can watch Saturday's webinar and all of that will be explained. But I just wanted to show you how great our software is. So this yellow line is our software setup. So if you happen to be living in Europe, or you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning this morning, you could set up your trade with a target of 12, a stop of 25, an entry time of 3:29 and 58 seconds, and a bracket of 5, and I'll show you in English what that all means. We traded the euro futures, okay? We trade futures only using the NinjaTrader platform. Futures only, NinjaTrader platform. The reason I'm saying it twice is because somebody always signs up and then they're upset because we don't do stocks, okay? We don't do stocks. We don't do options. Futures, NinjaTrader platform. So 3:30 this morning, the German flash services trade, it had a setup, and here's what the trade looked like. This was a replay of the trade because I did not get up at 3:30 this morning. I just couldn't do it at 3 o'clock. I couldn't do it. But this is a real replay of what the market looked like at that time in the morning. So I took the elements from the daily report, which I put on the screen. I had a bracket of 5, so one of our categories in the software is a bracket. So I put in the number 5, and then I put in my targets, profit targets of 12 and 25. I put in my stop, and I put in my time of entry, which was 3:29 and 58 seconds, 2 seconds before the news is released. Now I go to the news. This is what the market looked like right before the news came out. Here's the news result. We have tools that help us understand what the news result is. And again, that is explained in Saturday's webinar, but suffice it to say that here is the trade. At 2 seconds before the news came out, our software, so you don't have to fumble around, it puts orders on the chart. We bracket the current price of the instrument we're trading. In this case, it was the euro. And if the market moves because of the news data that came out, it will pull us into a trade. That's exactly what happened on this replay. The market pulled us short because the euro went down. It hit my first target. I then was able to move my stop into safety to protect my profits. And then I patiently waited, expecting possibly that maybe part of that second larger target would get hit. We weren't getting a big follow through, so I shrunk my target a little bit, and then the price went down, hit the target, and that is what our software can do. I did not do a lot of trade management in that report. I didn't have to worry about an entry. My entry was automatic. Let me show it to you in real time, because in real time you can see how important an automated entry is. Here is the orders are placed on the chart automatically. The price goes down. My targets are placed on the chart automatically. If the price reaches my target, it fills me and gives me a profit. And then whatever happens next, if it doesn't automatically hit my second target, then I will manage my way out of the trade, trying to get the largest profit possible. So you want to have some knowledge of trading to be able to succeed at proper trade management. And there's no, if you're a discretionary trader, you know there's no hard and fast rule about every single move must be made a specific way. There are a variety of different decisions that you could make. Those decisions will affect the amount of profit or the lack of profit that you will make. And those are things that we also discuss in our trade room very seriously. So our software, as you can see, helped me to trade the trade with less worry because it puts the orders on automatically, less worry because it will hit my targets automatically much of the time. Less worry because there's a stop, a risk safety net on the chart. And the management that I have to do is very simple. Maybe I'd have to move my stop. Maybe I could move my target, but I was able to manage that trade for a profit. That's why I love our software. It's a tool that allows us to do exactly what I just showed you. It's got these items, or what we call fields. And if you're a brilliant ATM strategy writer, you can even insert an ATM into our software and use your own ATM instead of using our values. So our software, you've got the bracket, you've got positions, you've got trailing stops, and it's all just an issue of putting in the correct value, understanding how the value relates to the trade, which is not complicated, and that's how you learn. And one of the reasons why, when someone joins our service and makes a purchase, for instance, if you purchase the Family Money Trade System, we always include trade room time in the purchase, because remember I said there's 3 elements to being a successful event-based trader. You need the daily reports, you need the software, and you need time in the trade room. So don't you think it makes sense for us to include all of those elements in a system if you want to be a family money trader? Well, yes. We try to be smart, we try to be fair, and we try to make you set up so you can succeed. If you spend time in the trade room, you know what the current market conditions are. You know if changes have to be made to the daily report to keep you safer. There's all sorts of things that are so important in the trade room. I think that everything flows from the trade room into the software and then the daily reports. It's all integrated, all related. It all works together, and it's all very important. I feel that this is one of the greatest times to start becoming a family trader, because it's the 4th quarter. Some of the greatest trades are coming up. Next week, we have the quarterly grain report. Everybody can't stand listening to me anymore, because I'm always showing last quarter's quarterly grain report, because people had maybe one of the best trades this year in the trade room. Let me show you the quarterly grain report. It was so explosive and so much fun and such a great trade. I hope I can find. I never can find my trades when I'm in the webinar. I'm such a goofball sometimes. Let me find it. Quarterly grains. This was our Twitter video. It's very quick and short. So as you could see, it's a grain report. So we're trading the corn futures or the soybean futures. And I can set up 2 trades. Our software and NinjaTrader together on 2 separate charts can trade 2 different instruments simultaneously, or I can switch between them if the market determines that one instrument is safer than another. In this case, I wanted to trade corn, but I had a backup soybean trade set up as well. I was up $150 before the quarterly grain report. You're going to see the software put these little X's on the chart, which are my orders. Then the grain report is going to be released. It's going to cause the candle, this green little candle, to explode because of the news and the reaction to the news. Corn is going to move dramatically, and it's going to give us a gigantic profit of $1,437 in a nanosecond. Watch this trade. Order is placed automatically. The trade is over in 2 seconds. It was not a nanosecond. I lied. It was 2 seconds. Watch it again. We went from $150 to $1,587. So there's my orders. They were automatically placed. The news came out. corn burst to the upside. And when the trade was over, it was a profit of $1,437. And you can see that profit up here in the realized column of NinjaTrader. And it's a little bit hard to read it here, but my total is now 1,587. And more importantly, I'm showing real live money. This is not a simulated trade. It's real live money. And that's my real account number. That's how you know I'm telling you the truth. Quarterly grains is next week. Now, look, we don't know that quarterly grains is going to be that good next week, but I will tell you this. Quarterly grains is a family money trade because in the last 2 years, there's only been one negative report. And I'm saying one. I believe there's been none, but I'm going to say one just to protect myself. It has been a spectacular trade. It has a little brother trade called the WASD, which is a monthly version of the same type of grain trade. The WASD trade has also been a phenomenally behaving trade. Our last WASD trade, why don't I show you that too? Because I can explain the software. I can also show you, here's a screen from a member who traded the WASD with us in our trade room, and he made a profit of $467 in 3 seconds, okay? It's a noon trade. He was done trading 2 seconds and 12 seconds, 12:02, 2 minutes and 12 seconds after the news was out. His trade was over. But I'm telling you this, the bulk of his trade was under a minute. He made $467.50 on the last WASD trade. My WASD trade, and I'm telling you the truth, I don't remember what my last WASD was. So let's see if I've got June here. June will have to do. June is perfectly fine. The video. First, I'll show you this. September, just so you know the truth, our September WASD, I've got a screenshot. We had 2 winning trades that day, and we made $640. My WASD was $437, very similar to what our member traded. Just so you can see the way that the WASD's been behaving regularly, here's a video of a recent WASD. And let's see, here we go. It's a grain trade, like we said. It takes place at noon. So I'm just fast forwarding the video through to noon. 20 seconds, not even. There's our orders. Let me back it up a second. I went to head too far. So 10 seconds. Our X's are going to show up because our software automatically puts the orders on the chart. There's the orders. The report gets released, and you can see corn was slower, but moved in one beautiful direction, giving us a very nice profit. Actually, it was a $500 profit. I can see it in the realized section of the platform. So WASD in June was a $500 profit. How do you determine the bracket size? Oops, I answered a question when I said I wouldn't, but it's okay. So Wayne, we determine bracket sizes by studying previous events, and that tells us what the proper bracket would be. If you watch 3 to 6 events and they behave in a similar fashion, that will give you an idea of what the bracket should be. So it's really just a question of analyzing behavior based on a news report. It's different than, something like a whatchamacallit, a Elliott wave, or it's something different than a VWAP, or it's different than, pullbacks, Fibonacci's, okay? What you'll find the truth. And my friend Mark Sachs from Rightline gave an incredible webinar last week. And he said something that was so true. He said, it's almost impossible to trade reversals. It's almost impossible to trade Elliott waves because it's never the same signal. It's almost more people have lost money on Fibonacci retracements than any other indicator since indicators were invented. And this was Mark's words. Mark is a mathematician from the University of Pennsylvania, Wharton Business School. He's a brilliant software designer. I agree with him. I don't spend my time looking at Elliott waves and Fibonacci retracements. I spend my time with my software backtesting, looking for events and the way that that event behaves, and then I will trade those events. Now, there was something I wanted to show you before that I got sidetracked. Remember, I was saying you could trade two instruments at the same time using two different charts. So I wanted to show you our FOMC trade from this week. Actually, it was yesterday. Our FOMC trade. We had tested, as a company, we tested bonds and I tested the ES. Our normal trade was to trade the NQ. And I have not been happy with the way that the NQ has been trading. And my job is, I'm the trader and moderator. I get to decide what we're going to trade. Me. I get to be the big shot in the trade room. And I don't mean that sincerely. I'm not a big shot. My goal is I want to decide to pick the instrument that's going to give you and me the best possibility of a probability for a profit. I don't care if it's the NQ. I don't care if it's cattle. I don't care if it's a frog in the pond in the country, on 17 acres of land. It doesn't matter to me. All I want to do is find the right instrument and trade it and show you how to trade it. So the FOMC, I had decided I didn't like the way the NQ had been behaving. It looked like, if you read our report, it looked like it had been successful very much month after month after month. But we knew in the trade room, it was challenging. It needed a very, very large bracket, 20 ticks. That's a very large bracket. That means there's a lot of volatility before the event comes out, and it makes it more risky. I tested the ES because one of our members, Chantal, who works for us, tested the ES, and she gave me a heads up. She said, check out the ES. And I said to her, well, you check out bonds. I think bonds are doing pretty good also. And I tested her testing of the ES, which was fantastic. My testing of the bonds I thought was excellent. And I set up two separate live trades, the ES and bonds, ZN. I can't trade that trade in our family money account because it's not an official family money trade yet. So we have a second test account. We use that testing account for bubbling under trades, trades that are not yet family money trades, but they're worth taking. So in other words, you could be a member of our service. You could under trade just the family money trades, and or you could have a secondary service where you trade a lot more. If you like more risk and you understand risk, we have other trades, and some of them are worth trading, but they're not quite as safe and reliable as the family money trades. But that doesn't mean you can't make money with them. FOMC is going to become a family money trade. That's definite. It's got so many successful setups that for reasonable risk that it falls into the category of how can something be a family money trade. How does it become a family money trade? A, good success over a period of months. B, not excessive risk. C, manageable to trade. D, reliable and safe. Also, what's great about the FOMC is if you are a skilled discretionary trader, it also offers a lot of extra trades after the news comes out. So very simply, I set up a bond trade on the left. I set up an ES trade on the right. It happened to be a very challenging result in terms of the speed of the market. The market was monstrously fast. I made a judgment that probably caused my bond trade to only make about $10. I increased the bracket because I noticed a little bit of pre-trade volatility, and I didn't want to get filled before the news was released. So I made the bracket probably a little too big, which I'll fix for our next FOMC trade. On the ES, there was a lot of slippage yesterday. However, the ES gave us our profits. So bonds on the left, ES on the right. The trade takes place very, very fast. Bonds shoot down and they don't show a profit. The ES, you could see that there was a very big candle and it didn't go very far past my order initially. That green and black box is my order where I entered the market. Then it went further, it hit my targets, and I wound up making roughly $350 in about 15 seconds. Again, in our test account on that report. It was very, very fast, but interestingly, remember, I said to members in the trade room, I don't want to trade the NQ on this report. I don't like the way it's been behaving. A couple of people traded the NQ. One person didn't get filled because the move was so fast, and another person lost money. It was not a good instrument to trade. Experience in trading events is the key to being successful in any system. So once again, 3 things that I would recommend that you absolutely should have for family money trades is the daily reports. We call them the daily market movers. Nothing is more important also than live trade room access, so you can be taught how to set up the trades, how to use the software, and just to watch previous videos, to talk about the markets, and to go over the software setups. 3 very important elements: software, trade room, DMMs, daily market reports. Family money trades, I coach in the trade room one-on-one because you're able to ask me by yourself questions. I can spend the time with you, and other people in the room can listen and learn while they're learning about trading also. So everybody has an opportunity to ask questions. We like to use the trade room as a support room. So we teach and we trade in the room. So for a very limited time, I want to offer you these 3 elements. Now, I made a mistake, so let me skip this screen. Okay, that's our old, it was an old sale. Let me show you the right one. For $2.99, we're going to have familymoneytrades.com, and you're going to get, I hope it's the next slide. Let me find it. And then I'll go back. Here's what you get. 3 months of the daily market movers. It's $147 value. 3 months of the live trade room is a $291 value. And I want to tell you something about transparency. We have non-member prices. The non-member price of the trade room is $297 a month. But I kind of feel it's not fair showing that price. In other words, 3 times $297 is about $700, right? But that's, our members can buy the trade room for $100 a month. So 3 months for $97. So 3 months, honestly, folks, is $291. It's not $700. I wanted to be totally honest about what you're saving, what you're getting, because it's still a great deal. You get 3 months of our software, which is valued for $447, and we have a bonus for the first 10 people. You can get a full extra month of the whole system. So let me back up real quick to where I wanted to go, just to get back to where I was, because I had things a little bit out of sync. So for $299, you get all of those elements. www.familymoneytrades.com. What's coming up? Why is this interesting and valuable to become a member now? Within the next 2 weeks, we've got the ADP report. We've got the weekly API report. We have the US jobs report. We've got WASD, the Canadian jobs report. There's more. We've also got the quarterly grain report. If you sign up today or tomorrow, you'll be able to trade the quarterly grain report with us. This is not a subscription. It's a one-time investment. It doesn't auto-renew after 3 months. We hope that you'll love trading and learning with us so much that you'll renew after 3 months. And if you don't want to continue, you don't have to. Just do nothing. We will never charge you again. But if you sign up now, you'll get this fast action bonus. The first 10 traders who take action now, the first 10, that's not a lot, you'll get an extra 4 weeks free of everything in the system. Another 4 weeks in the trade room, another 4 weeks of the daily reports, and another 4-week license of our software. We also have a guarantee. We're going to take on the risk of your investment. We have a 100% 6-month money-back action guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, at the end of 6 months, just show us the proof that you actually tried taking these trades, and we'll give you a full refund. But you've got to try. You can't just buy the system, put it in the drawer, never do anything, and say, oh, I didn't like it, I want a refund. The details of our refund policy are on the order page before you give us your money. So read it over, make sure it's right for you. The guarantee can't include NinjaTrader because that's sold separately by NinjaTrader. And it's inexpensive that you can lease NinjaTrader. You don't have to buy it. It's not a big expense. So one more time, here's what you get. 3 months of the daily market movers, $49 a month, so it's a $147 value. You get 3 months of the live trade room, a $291 value, and 3 months of the Jobb software. And for the first 10 bonus, an extra $295 value, 4 more weeks of everything, a total value of $1,180 for just $299. It's a steal. It's a great deal. We're coming into the 4th quarter. This is the time to add a valuable, profitable trading system into your repertoire of trading. Let me show you a couple of more trades that we are interested in taking. Now, here's a trade that it's a bubbling under, might at some point become a family money trade. Thursday unemployment claims, they've been somewhat inconsistent, but every now and then they start to trade really well. And lately they've been trading much better. I tested this morning's family unemployment trade. It's a Thursday trade. It's got a bracket of 8 with gold, an entry of 829. It's an 830 trade with 59 seconds. So we enter 1 second before the unemployment news comes out. And this morning it was a wonderful trade. Watch how it behaved. So once again, you'll see our orders show up on the chart, automated. I don't have to fumble around and try to put them on a chart, try and make it work. They'll get placed on the chart automatically. Give it a second, it will work. It's going to be 9 seconds from now because I was when I set up a replay, I set it up about 10 seconds prior to the event. Here's my brackets. The news comes out. The news this morning was a little bit negative. There were more claims than they expected. Gold went down on that news. Normally, I would have expected it to move up. We don't really care what direction the index moves, as long as the move that we get is a steady move in one direction. And it could be a little choppy, but we don't want it to be so choppy that it'll back up and hit our stop. So you could see that what happened is the news was a little bit negative, and it caused gold to just continue down in a nice steady move that could have been approximately a $200 trade because it would have hit both our targets. So that's a trade I'm keeping my eye on. Certainly, it's worthwhile as an extra trade these days It may make the cut as a family money trade. It may not. But that's what we do. We're always testing. We're always looking for new trades. The FOMC, in my opinion, is going to be an ES family money trade because the ES trading and testing is very, very, very good. Now, so how do you really determine? Let me show you really clearly how I make a decision why a trade will be entered into our portfolio of family money trades. This week, we had a setup called building permits and housing starts. Not a very complicated trade, not a very fast acting trade. In fact, it's a small little setup. I'll show it to you. Let me show you the daily report. Building permits and housing starts. It's got a bracket of 8, an activation time 50. I usually use 58, 59 seconds to be safer. Targets that are small of just 4 and 8 and a stop of 10. So that's very, very similar to the setup I used, but we saw something. We watched 4 previous videos of that report, and we noticed something. We noticed that every video, and let me show you one of them, we noticed that pretty much every video had a slightly delayed reaction to the news. In other words, the news came out, and we were entered into the market a little bit slowly, and also the price of gold didn't move very much for about 10 or 15 seconds until the news had been released. So this was one of the videos we watched. You could see it was not, the news was out, and we were not pulled into the trade immediately. You'll see we get pulled into the trade. Now, forgive me, watch the right side. Watch the right side. We were testing 2 different reports. Watch this right side. Our brackets are going to show up in 2 seconds. There's the brackets. A little bit of a delay. Now we're going to get filled. There's the fill. And price just kind of hung around, took its time, didn't really do much. But now, after a few seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, it starts to move. Hits my first target right here. You'll see it. Give it a second. Like I said, it was delayed. So the key was patience. It's going to go down. It's going to hit that target. And it's taking its sweet time. So that's the lesson we saw. Watch. Because that's how we learn. It just hit the target and boom, it hits the second target really fast. So we looked at another video and we saw somewhat similar behavior. A little bit of a slow reaction getting in the trade. A little bit of a slow reaction hitting the targets. However, all of the reactions made for a profitable money-making event. Just because it was a little bit slow doesn't mean you don't have to trade it. It means you can trade it with the knowledge that you need to be patient in order to collect your profit. This particular one was even slower. It backed up a little bit on us. It looked like it was going to be a bad trade, but then it found its legs. It went in the right direction, the direction that we got filled. Again, it was delayed. It wasn't super fast. But when all was said and done, it was a similar reaction to the previous report. We noted that. And when we traded and tested the trade yesterday, because remember, it's not a family money trade yet, because we didn't realize how successfully it has been trading. But watching the videos, going over the previous reports, we became knowledgeable that it looked like it was starting to trade better and better. It's going to go up, and this one was slow. It really took its time in August. It's going to go up, and I take back. August was the one trade that didn't work. Let me show you July. July did exactly what we expected. There's our brackets. July takes its time filling. It fills, chops around a little bit. Then watch it go up. It's going to hit the targets. Boom. Hits the second target, but it took its time. That was over a minute. And then one more, because this is what we do in the room. We analyze all the reports and we realized 4 out of 5 acted in a similar manner. They didn't do things very quickly. And if you were patient, you could have gotten a profit on 4 out of the last 5 before yesterday. Here was the fifth trade that we looked at. Similar result. It took its time entering us into the trade. It was more than 20 seconds. In fact, it was more than 30. It was a slow entry. And, you know, it's funny. Watch the right side, okay? Because I was looking at the left side. Watch the right side. And boom, it's going to go and hit both targets. So what we noticed, and what's important, here's yesterday's trade. We noticed a pattern of slightly delayed entry, slightly delayed target fulfillment. Yesterday's trade, I traded live. I only traded one contract because we were testing. But what we saw, watch the left side, what we saw was very similar behavior. I'll play it in real time. Here's the real-time trade, 8:30 trade. The market hasn't filled yet. It's taking its time. The news is going to come out. It's not out yet. Building permits. There's the fill. Took almost 15 seconds, which is a little bit slower than normal. It fills us to the long side. There was a nice upward trend in gold yesterday also, which makes us happy that we got filled in the direction of the trend, because that will sometimes give you a better option of making money. And boom, it hit my target, but it took its time. It took 40 seconds. And I know it seems like 40 seconds is not very long, but I knew that's a little bit slower than normal. I knew that what I wanted to do was take my time and wait for the report to work. And that's exactly what it did. So that's how we determine if we're going to add a report and make it a family money trade. It's now traded 5 out of 6 winners, 5 out of the last 6. It's a low risk trade with a small risk of loss. That's the perfect formula for a family money trade. Recent profits over 5 or 6 months, nice, easy to trade, reliable behavior that seems similar on all the reports, and working trade. So that makes it a very strong potential for family money trade. I think, honestly, folks, for $2.99, how can you do better? Keep in mind that we made a very significant amount of profit trading small since April. It's a winning system, low risk, trading on a schedule. Now, members might ask some questions. What if you're already a trade room member? No problem. We'll postpone your renewal date by 3 months so you can take advantage of this sale and get an extra 3 months for way less than most people would be paying for our service, $2.99. Does the Jobb software work on other trading platforms other than NinjaTrader? Right now, it works on NinjaTrader alone, but we're absolutely this year, and this you can take to the bank, we are going to add another trading platform. We also have a lot of exciting things going on in the background that I've been hinting at to everybody in our trade room. We're going to make a major commitment to this trading system by really upping the size of everything that we do to show the power and the profitability of this system. And we're going to be doing something very exciting before the new year to really up our risk up our belief in the system, up our commitment in how profitable we think this system is going to be. Where do you get NinjaTrader? You just go to www.ninjatrader.com to order it, and there are quite a few different deals that you can make on NinjaTrader. What if you have trouble installing our software? We have step-by-step video instructions in our member area that walk you through the entire installation. What if you need help after installing it? That's why we include 3 months in the trade room. We always are using the software in the room. We certainly can help. And also, if you want to hire someone to install the software and go over your whole machine so that it's ready for trading family money trades, you can do that as well. But most people are able to function by letting us help them in the trade room. Is this a subscription? Will you be automatically charged again in 3 months? Absolutely not. We know that you're going to be happy and you're going to ask us to renew. How do you get coaching and support in general from us as a company? One, by me in the live trade room. We're in the trade room, I would say up to 10 hours a week, always hours a week. Other members are incredibly helpful in the chat, in the trade room, and you can always email us, help@10minutetrades.com. And of course, we're looking at adding other methods as well of support, because that's the most important thing. Keep in mind, it only takes 1 or 2 good trades to pay for the entire family money trade system. Why do I say that? 1 or 2 good trades? Let me prove that. Let me prove it, okay? If you would have traded last month's jobs report like Jeremiah did, he had a profit of $700 on one report, and you can see the move that the bonds made on that report last month. That same jobs report is coming up in 10 days, okay? He made $700 on the most recent jobs report. A member made money on quarterly grains, $580 on quarterly grains. Another member, Ralph, U.S. jobs, he made $390. September's job report, September 21. Not old reports. These are not last year's trades, okay? WASD, one of our members in June, trading WASD, which is coming up in roughly 2 weeks. He made $300 on WASD in less than 60 seconds. My jobs report trade, let me see what my most recent jobs report that I have in this file, so I don't have to spend a lot of time. I've got June's jobs report. Pretty much every jobs report in the past 6 months has been profitable. So this was June. I was trading bonds. And I'm just fast forwarding to the report. That scary person is me. Here's the news is going to come out. I was trading bonds. There's my bracket. Bonds go up. They're going to hit that first target and fill it right there. They're going to hit my second target, my third target, $593 profit, less than 15 seconds, trading bonds. This is not made up. This is real trading. We're really doing this. And that's the honest truth. So one more time, the 3 elements that you need. You need the daily reports. 3 months. We sell them for $147. 3 months of the trade room, $291 is the best deal you can get on the trade room for 3 months. 3 months of the software would cost $447, the best deal for 3 months. And then the first 10 who sign up, you're going to get an extra 4 weeks, an extra month of the whole system. If it's 4.5 weeks, we're not going to cut you off. It's going to be the full month. It's a $295 value. So for $11.80 in value, you're just paying $299. It's a deal and a half. www.familymoneytrades.com. That's the system, folks. Let me answer your questions. Raymond is asking, what's the best deal after the 3 months? So, Ray, we usually have promotions. It's that time of the year where we'll probably have a Christmas sale, a Black Friday sale. So most people will be able to continue anywhere between $2.99 and $4.99, I would say, Ray, depending on what the deal we have going. But just to give you an idea, you can also subscribe to the software for 1 month for $149 if you want to go monthly. The trade room is $99 and the reports are $49. So that's the worst that somebody would pay if we don't have a bundle going on. If you already get the daily report, Dan, we'll just add to your current subscription, okay? We add it to your current subscription. The key to the system is all of the elements together. So for $2.99, you're adding 3 more months of everything. If you sign up early, we'll give you 4 months of everything, okay? I mean, for me, folks, I love trading this way. I love knowing exactly what time I'm going to trade. I know exactly what day. Every week we have our schedule. The schedule comes out. The schedule looks like this. All of our members get it. It notates the family money trades, but it also has all of the other events that we're looking at, and some of them we trade in our secondary account. Flash manufacturing, natural gas, new home sales, FOMC, crude oil, existing homes. There's many, many reports. Some I recommend that they're worthwhile to trade. Others are not so worthwhile to trade. It honestly depends how the report's been behaving. That's the most important thing. So folks, I want to thank everybody for coming. I'll show you one more time just what you can get for signing up. I think it's an awesome, awesome deal. I love trading on a schedule, not waiting for setups to occur that don't always take place. You know what I mean? Sometimes you wait for a setup and it never happens. And it's like the worst possible thing is waiting for a setup that doesn't occur. So let me just find that screen, put the slideshow on it if I can. I'll back it up because it won't let me do it. So give me 1 second. Oh, here it is. So you're getting 3 months of the daily market movers, 3 months of the trade room, 3 months of the software, and a bonus if you're one of the first 10 for just $2.99. Family money trading, folks. I highly recommend adding us to your 4th quarter of trading. You'll be glad you did. Any last questions? What product is the best to trade micros? So Tess, it's a tough question, but you could trade micro ES. You could trade micro NQ. There's more and more new micros coming out. What we'd like to see, what we said the other day, micro gold is not a great index because it doesn't have a lot of volume. We're hoping they'll come out with a better micro gold to trade. So that might be a real good possibility if they come out with a new micro. They've been adding new micros almost every couple of months. Micro crude oil is very nice to trade. So we're starting to see more and more micros for people that want to trade with a very small account size. With micros, you can trade in an account with $3,000. That's a very small account size. So any other last questions, folks? I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I hope you learned something. We're going to send out an email to everybody that signed up for a webinar with 5 of our favorite family money trades. And I really think this is a great time to sign up because all the good trades are coming up starting next week and the week after. And then we'll get busy for the 4th quarter. The 4th quarter is always an exciting time to trade. So I don't see any last questions. So folks, www.familymoneytrades.com. Join up with us. We would love to have you as a member so we can teach you to do this. And I'll see everybody in the trade room. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. See ya.